Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Gujarat State Fertilizer and Chemicals Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Harmesh Desai from Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second quarter and half-yearly earnings call of Gujarat State Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited, hosted by Batlivala and Karani Securities. From the management, we have Mr. V.D. Nanavati, Executive Director, Finance and CFO, Mr. Vishwesh Vacharajani, Company Secretary. I would like to thank the management for giving us the opportunity to host this call. We would begin the call by opening remarks from Mr. Nanavati, post which we will have a Q&A session. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining this GSFC Q2 post-result call. I hope you have seen the numbers and as usual our production and sales volumes are uploaded on our website, so you can see if you have not already seen them. So as you know, this quarter and this year more or less is being depending only on the industrial product performance. All the chemicals in the country are doing very well, so GSFC is also one of them. So chemical segment has posted very good top line and bottom line. On half-yearly basis, you might have noticed that our profit before tax for H1 has surpassed the full year PBT of last year. So what we did last year, we have done it in 6-month period. So going forward, we look forward to still brighter numbers. As far as fertilizer segment is concerned, due to high input cost, starting from natural gas, sulfur, ammonia, phosphoric acid, rock phosphate, so all the input costs are on the higher side. So that restricted our production, particularly in the Sikta unit. So we only manufacture when it was economically viable. Otherwise, plant were not running continuously. Government of India also looking to the situation, increased the subsidy rate on P&K fertilizers twice during the year, apart from substantial rise in the May 21. But still the vicious cycle of rising subsidy, rising input cost is continuing, and it is very difficult to take call on production or import of the fertilizers. As you may be noting that the processed price, which was $1160, has been increased to $1330 from 1st October. So again, it nullifies the effect of higher subsidy. Some shortages in the country has also been noticed, particularly in the Rabi season, but government is taking stock of the situation and monitoring it closely so that farmers get the fertilizers at reasonable price and in required quantities. So we see that immediately there is no going to be respite from this higher input cost till March end. So till March, fertilizer volumes are going to be remain affected, and we feel that something like 20% volume decrease in this year as compared to last year may happen on a full year basis. However, since the SFC has got both the segments, and we have seen this balancing effect in the past also, when one segment is not doing good, other segment takes care of the revenue and profit. So accordingly, industrial products is doing very good. We have started melamine 1 plant which was closed almost for last 2 years based on the very good price realization. Otherwise, its energy cost is high, so had to be kept on idle mode for a 2 years period. Apart from the good industrial product working, there was substantial saving in interest cost because of the good working capital cushion available based on coal subsidy blockage being paid off by government on a one-time basis. And this year also government has been quite regular in payment of subsidy. So that helped in managing the working capital with the least borrowing. On the contrary, we have more than 1,000 crores of fixed deposits, which gives us the interest advantage. One good thing that has happened in fertilizer segment is that because of the lower volume, our expenses of freight, storage, etc. have substantially reduced and given us the leverage of looking at all those expenses closely and bringing some efficiencies there, so which will help in future also. As you might have noticed that we have the anti-dumping duty on caprolactam has been recommended by the Commerce Ministry, and it has gone to Finance Ministry for final evaluation and then notification of the anti-dumping duty coming from various Asian and European countries. So that will help in improving the top line, bottom line of our caprolactam business. Our project, as we said last time, are on ammonium sulfate 4 project, sulfuric acid 5th plant, nylon 6 compounding plant, solar power project of 15 megawatt, and urea revamping for meeting the energy norms of Government of India. So these projects are under implementation, and company is also considering various projects already considered in past, like MMA project in Dahej, phosphate sulfuric acid project in Sikka, and the company is also looking at expanding in melamine, as well as coming out with various projects in the Dahej land it has already acquired in the past. So company is on the growth trajectory, and we will see the results in the days to come. With this note, I now conclude my short presentation and welcome you to the question answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir. Dhanyavad. Sir, if we look at the fertilizer segment, for the first quarter, our sales volume was 4.34 lakh metric ton, and for the second quarter, it was 6.06. So more than 1 million we have done for the first half. And as you are articulating that we will be witnessing some reduction going forward. So what should be our next half target, taking into account the inflationary trends?
Yeah, good afternoon. This is S.P. Yadav.
Good afternoon, sir.
Situation has already been explained by our CFO, Mr. Nanavati. But during H1, we are expecting 8 to 9 lakh metric ton more. And our closing volume would be more than 2 million metric ton.
Sir, come again. I just missed 9 lakh for the next second half.
Yeah, second half. So it will be close to 2 million metric ton by margin.
And what was it, sir, for 31st March 2021?
Pardon?
What was our last year volume, sir?
Last year it was 26.38 lakh metric ton.
So, sir, keeping into fact the price trends increase in the raw material, there would not be any dent on the bottom line. If we produce less and sell less, it will make economies better for us as a company, because there is an improved realization from the industrial products. So it makes good sense for us to produce and sell less of fertilizer this year.
Yeah, so because margins are suppressed in fertilizer, and sometimes because to give fertilizer to the farmers at competitive rate, it is very difficult to meet all the higher input cost and still maintain MRP even if there is a higher subsidy. So this year it seems to be better that we have some reasonable volume instead of going full-fledged like earlier years. So, but whatever is lost, as you rightly pointed out, it will be filled up by the industrial product segment.
With this volume drop, this will not lead to any problem with the farmers, because their dependence on us, or whether there is sufficient stock. How would this math work, sir? When we will be selling less, how will this gap be filled up? Because there should be a requirement of fertilizer going forward in the same proportion as has been the last year case. So whether last year volumes were abnormal, or this year reduction will flow through easily, or because there is no chance of imports also, since fertilizer availability globally has become an issue, if our understanding on what we read from the articles is correct.
No, with the international price, fertilizer is available in whatever quantity it is required. There is no problem.
Okay.
Only thing is price is high. So now in this kind of a situation, 5-6 years once in a while it comes. So all the backlog inventories and channel inventories get consumed, which used to be always pipeline was always filled up with new supplies from the companies. So that is not being done. So whatever is there in the pipeline, everything is getting consumed. Of course, there will be some shortage, but some demand may get contracted accordingly.
Sir, if you take the industrial product part, sir, as you told that there are things brighter even going forward. So, can you give some more color on what have been the exit prices for the key products of caprolactam, melamine, nylon 6 and methanol post the September quarter? What have been the exit prices for the month of October for these major products?
Yeah, so caprolactam prices are more or less stable at say $2,050. But melamine price is increasing, so now it is more than $3,000. So it's almost double than say last October prices. So after Diwali there may be some reduction, but as of now, for the full month of October it was quite high. and nylon 6 prices are also high at 2,05,000 rupees, which used to be say 175 or something like that. So all the prices are on upside, and compared to last year Q3, they are much on higher side.
And for the methanol, sir, this quarter methanol contribution was also
Yeah,
significant.
methanol prices also have increased, say from 28-29 rupees per kg to some 40-45 rupees per kg. But with gas prices rising substantially more than rising methanol price, we have shut down our methanol plant in the month of September. So because of mismatch in gas price and methanol price. So whenever again gas price softens after this winter is over, we will again start the methanol plant.
So for this quarter, there will be no contribution from the methanol segment.
Yeah, so all that is being taken care by melamine 1 plant, which was stopped since last 2 years, and higher melamine and other product prices. So
it will get
concern, it will be maintained.
Sir, can you give the exit price for the September or the September average for caprolactam, melamine, and this nylon 6?
Okay, I will have to see and send it to.
No, yes, sir. In the next, no, sir. During the call, you can give post.
I will have to see what was the price.
Okay, sir. Now coming to the inflationary trend, sir. So that these industrial product prices which have moved up, the factors that have contributed to it, what are the factors that are going to wane down going forward? Whether any new capacities are going to come up in globally, or how is the consumer going to get affected with these high prices? So are these profitability numbers sustainable for the IP segment going forward, or what factors are supporting them, sir? If you could throw some light on this.
It is a kind of a structural problem when all problems get piled up all of a sudden at a one point of time. And this kind of situation arises, like logistic constraints and shipping constraints, and China's production coming down because of environment and power shortage issues, and then Indian demand going up suddenly post COVID relaxation. So you cannot have any capacities in a short term of say 3-month or 6-month period. So people are ready to pay whatever is the price, because consumers are also ready to pay higher price for whatever, whether they buy a car or whether they buy a house or whether they buy a textile. They are ready to pay higher price. So the actual users also find it okay to pay better price to us. So this is the situation, but caprolactam is okay because crude will not come down so easily. So at least caprolactam we see the $1,000 or more than little $1,000 spread that we see will be maintained till March end. Melamine will come down little bit because it is very much heated up. So this is not sustainable for a long period of time. But still, nothing will happen all of a sudden. Everything will happen gradually.
15 minutes, please.
So till March, we will have a good profit in industrial products.
Participant, that's why on this call.
Okay. On top of what we reported for second quarter, there is a scope of margin improvement even going forward and coming the future.
Third quarter, it will be better than second quarter.
On the industrial IP segment.
IP, yes.
Right. So we have seen this increase in receivables also from the government subsidy head from 509 crore to 913 crore. So how is this going to impact the liquidity position, or is this temporary only? and going forward this will get liquidated in due course of time?
Yeah, so as I said, the subsidy for every product has increased substantially, as you are knowing that for DAP, last year it was 10,000 rupees per ton. Now it is 33,000. So even if my one subsidy for 1 ton is pending, last year I would have shown 10,000 rupees outstanding. This time I will show 33,000 rupees outstanding. So it is just numbers have increased, all the numbers. That is why it shows up like this. But as I said, government is paying subsidy regularly. For urea, it has already paid subsidy up to 15th October. So just subsidy outstanding of 15 days is pending. And PNK fertilizer, they have paid up to August. So September, October subsidy is pending. So, but because of the high numbers in every PNK product, even little bit subsidy blockage shows up the huge increase compared to March end.
Right. So, sir, for us, the main cause of worry is the power and fuel, the gas prices that are going to affect the business in having a more dent. So, sir, it is not a quick fix for any organization. So, what are you seeing in terms of the power and fuel mix that affecting the margins going forward? And our investment in the renewable segments are currently, what is our current solar installed capacity, and further what are we investing? And also, sir, update on the new products under the Atmanirbhar Bharat part. I think so some soluble soluble fertilizers you were talking about, and some other product of calcium on that base. So, what is the update on the same, sir?
Yes, sir. So power and fuel expenditure is higher mainly because of the gas price, because a lot of power gets generated through natural gas instead of coal or any other form of energy. So that is why it is on higher side. So till this winter is over, the gas price is going to remain higher. So this will not come down immediately. But as you know, we have wind power capacity of 152 megawatts and already some 11 megawatts of solar power and 15 megawatts solar power is under installation. That will be over in June 22. So we will have a substantial renewable source of power which should help in getting our power costs down. But you know, power and fuel are together in this presentation. So as such our power cost is not high, but since fuel only natural gas is there, that is why the overall cost seems to be on higher side. But it should come down after say February 22.
Right, sir. And also on the tax provision part, lastly, sir, why have we made the provisions on such a higher higher base money on a profit of 340 crore? It is 104 crore. So what is the net outgo on tax on the profits?
Now what happens? Tax rate is determined on the yearly estimation. So quarter one. Profit was not so high, so we had estimated a conservative yearly profit and accordingly tax outgo. With this good profit of quarter two, the yearly estimation is on higher side. So, but it will come down in Q3 and Q4. So it is a one-time kind of impact of lower estimation of profit for the whole year. And with higher profit, what happens that whatever exemption, income tax exemption company has, that percentage comes down with higher profits in hand. So if you have say rupees 10 income tax exemption, and if you are making profit of 100 rupees, then your exemption is 10%. But if you make 200 rupees profit, then your exemption gets limited to 5%. So then when you make higher profit, you have a higher tax outgo because your tax exemptions are not so high in that scenario. So that kind of situation arises in our wind mill and other ATIA exemption with higher profits that in fact gets a little diluted. So, but against some 35% tax rate, including surcharge and all, we will have effective tax rate of around 29%.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best. So we can conclude that the industrial product segment is going to contribute in a much better in proportion going forward, and there will be some dent in the fertilizer margins going forward. This is a fair assumption, sir? Thank you. This is a fair assumption, sir?
Correct. Fair assumption.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Deepak Chitroda from Phillip Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. So I have two questions. First is, especially in the subsidy side, how do you see subsidy situation panning out towards the end of March? Because as I understand, I think government has allocated roughly around 80,000 crores for the industry, and that is, I mean, historically, if you see that lasts towards end of December or so. So how do you see situation coming up in the March this year?
So there may be some difficulty of budgetary allocation in February, March, but unlike earlier years where government was getting into trouble because of the shorter tax collection and shorter income compared to their expenditures, this year they have received a very good tax collection in form of GST or direct taxes, and as you must be reading, their fiscal deficit is the lowest as on September end, maybe historically low. So with all this good or better income, so government never intended to delay subsidy, but they had this restriction, so they were not going beyond certain fiscal deficit. But with good income in hand, I think this time we should not be in much trouble. And we are already in November, and as I said, for urea they have paid subsidy up to 15th of October, which has never happened in past. And for PNK up to August, and some imported PNK they have paid up to first week of September. So this indicates that this year may not be so difficult like earlier year.
Okay. And so second question is about the availability of RM, basically as you mentioned in their opening remarks. Especially if I talk about in case of potash, because I think that will be a key thing in order to have a production for NPKs going forward. Because I think the prices so far we haven't seen any increase because of the contract price. So do you think that producers will be restricted to also produce some of the NPK grades like 1026 or 1232 going forward?
Yeah, right now government focus is on DAP because that is a popular product. And potash, as you know, the official price remains at $280, but nobody gets the potash at $280. It is already more than $400 quoted informally. But however, since it is not a official price, the government has also not increased subsidy on potash. So possible that some restriction on NPK production may come in. Of course, government has increased subsidy by rupees 2,000 for 3 NPK grades. So, to broadly, because phosphate acid prices also increased, ammonia price also have increased. So, to broadly compensate 1026, 1232 and 2020 013, these two grades have been given additional subsidy of 2,000 rupees from 1st October. So there will be some relief to the NPK manufacturers. But right now government encourages DAP production and distribution.
Okay. And sir, in that sense, do you expect that probably we might get some another, subsidy package or, MRP increase is possible going forward, considering the recent spike in the RM cost or, overall finished product prices?
No, MRP, the government is determined that MRP should remain range bound. So farmers should not be burdened with higher MRP because of this input cost. So government has been instructing companies to limit their MRP or rise in MRP, and to obviate that effect, they have increased the subsidy, I would say, 3 times during this year. One is of course in May as compared to last year, then again in July, and again from 1st October. So government is trying to see that there is no shortage in the country, because companies would find it loss making to make fertilizer or import fertilizer, and at the same time farmers should also not be burdened with all this rise in input cost. So government has been quite lenient in increasing the subsidy at the right time. So I think this is the situation.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that going forward, it is very difficult for the government to give any additional MRP or subsidy, going forward, probably if we talk about in the H2 side. So to some extent, I think companies, they have to absorb to some extent the high cost of production for NPK, including DAP.
Yeah, some compromise will have to be made in these 3 stakeholders in play. So sometimes it is better to run the plant instead of keeping it down. So maybe with some losses. So companies are taking their individual calls in this regard.
Sure. And my in that sense, sir, what is the situation for our Typhoid joint venture? Are we getting any quantities of this phosphoric acid now from there?
Yeah, we are regularly getting it from them, because they are operating at some 40-50% capacity. So we and Coromandel both are getting regular shipment from them. And as such, there is no problem in phosphate acid supply. Only problem is price. So if you are ready to pay the price, supply is not a constraint.
Because till last quarter we were saying that there were some unrest, earlier in Tunisia, and they were not able to get proper quantities. So I think that situation has been improved, as you rightly pointed out.
Some improvement is there. Still, it is not till our expectation, because plant should run at 100% capacity. So still it is at half. But now with good PA prices, they also have the incentive to run it at higher capacity because at such price, no, $13-$30,
Mm-hmm.
we can make huge money.
Sure. And sir, in that sense, then, are we adopting any strategies like, like yesterday, I was hearing one of the larger producers call. They were basically trying to diversify into various products like SSP or other, water soluble or micronutrients and all. So are we planning to do that probably in the H2, or maybe that can be our long-term strategy going forward?
No, we are already in WSF and other. Of course, we don't want to go in SSP, but WSF and other organic and micro fertilizers, we are already there, and we have good market share, and we are expanding varieties of product that we manufacture. So that is always there, and it is giving good margin also because the price there are not controlled, and farmer knows the value of this WSF and other fertilizers. So we are already there. So, but this is a kind of a short-term issue. So once that is over, then things will be back to normal.
So in that sense also, I just want to ask you then, what is the status of our expansion plan, which we are talking about in terms of, increasing basically setting the acid plant, phosphoric plant at the Sikka. Is there any update in that side, sir?
Yeah, because of the COVID and all, no, large capex, naturally anybody would like to be cautioned on spending in this COVID situation. So where a lot of uncertainty about everything was there. So now that is over. So now again we are looking at setting up this plant maybe in some modular way. So earlier we used to go for 1200 metric ton per day per phosphoric acid capacity. So we may go for 600 into two kind of things. So first 600, and then once it is stabilized, we may again go looking to the demand and all. Go for another 600 metric ton plant at Sikka. So company definitely reviewing this, and once firm decision is made, we will be announcing it suitably. But we are not going back, that is for sure, because with this kind of price, no, you can recover all your capex in maybe 2 to 3 years time. And India is in need of phosphoric acid on continuous basis. So while rock is freely available, I would say, phosphoric acid is quite cartel product. So in this situation, it is good that somebody puts up this PA plant, for indigenous production.
Sure, sir, sure. Thank you very much, sir, and all the best, and happy Diwali to entire team. Thanks.
Happy Diwali. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Mr. Ramesh Desai. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Sir, can you give us an update on the capex for the first half and the capex for the entire financial year?
Yeah, so as I said, we are doing right now implementing ammonium sulfate. That will be 4th plant. We already have 3 plants. So this will be an 80 crore capex, and it will produce 400 tons per day of ammonium sulfate, which right now DSF is only producing. FACT in the Kerala, they are also producing, but sometimes they go off and on. So We are the regular producer of this product. Then we have another capex of sulfuric acid. This will be our fifth plant. So it will be around 180 crores capex and will produce 600 metric ton per day of sulfuric acid. This will be used captively for fertilizer production. Then we have nylon 6 compounding project, 35 crore capex. It will produce 48 tons of compounding nylon 6 production on a daily basis. Then we are putting up a 15 megawatt solar power plant at a capex of 84 crores. So that will come in stream in June 22. And then our urea plants are very old, 67 vintage. So we are revamping them to meet the reduced energy that government is focusing on. So that will be 300 crores capex. And this is being done in the live plant, so it is little slow. It will come in Q4 of 23-24. It will be commissioned. So these are the things which are going on. Almost maybe half of the capex will be spent in this year and maybe half will be spent in the next year. So something around 100-150 crore will be this year capex and similarly next year capex. And
Sorry to interrupt you, but your voice is breaking.
Yeah. So another plan at boardroom level is phosphoric acid, sulfuric acid at Sikka. That will be 600 metric ton phosphoric acid and 1800 metric ton sulfuric acid plant. That will be at around 1500 crore capex. And we have another plan to set up MMA, that is methyl methacrylate at Dahej. That will also be around 1500 metric ton. But these are all under discussion stage at the board level. So as and when it is finalized, we will announce the firm commitment of the company to go ahead. And
Understood.
And we have a large piece of land at Dahej where we, for future also, we are hired a consultant to suggest new products. For that also, as and when we progress, we will be announcing.
Understood, sir. And so the situation of the RM prices increasing. So what do you see? What do you think of the situation going ahead, the second half of the financial year? On the fertilizer side, do you see the situation to continue? And what is your expectation of this thing, sir?
Yeah, since majority of our raw materials are related to crude, so benzene, sulfur, even natural gas is an associated product of the crude extraction. So at least as far as crude is from around $85, these prices will remain at least till March 22. But natural gas is also related to this winter season where Western countries consume a lot of gas for heating purpose. So till February, that gas price will also remain on higher side. And other like phosphoric acid, ammonia are used worldwide, and the suppliers are getting good price in Europe and Brazil. So earlier what used to happen that in India, because of volume, they used to sell at little less price. But that is not the situation now. So we don't see much reduction till March 22. Something here and there will happen, but nothing drastic reduction is going to happen.
So, sir, do we have any plans for increasing our prices? Any action on that? And have we taken any price hike in this particular quarter?
Yeah, so our industrial products are based on import parity price. So as and when international price rise, our realization automatically rises accordingly. And for fertilizers, government is increasing the subsidy to let the farmer get the price, the fertilizer at the same old rate. So government is increasing subsidy to compensate for this input cost rise. So, and whenever there is some product which is economically not viable, we are not producing. So, we don't see much reduction in margin.
Right. And so the run rate that we have seen in the first half of the financial year on the chemicals segment, do you see this run rate to continue for the second half of the financial year as well?
Yeah, at least Q1 run rate will be there for H2 in totality. As we say, Q3 is still better, but Q4 may not be so good. So on overall basis, what we saw in Q1 in chemical is sustainable for H2.
Okay. Got it. And sir, our expectations from the upcoming Rabi season?
No, demand is good because of late rain and reservoirs in the country are full. So demand of fertilizer is there, and accordingly sowing is also good. But on supply side there are some constraints. So demand and supply will have to meet at some point of in time. Some reduction in demand will have to be there. Otherwise, the supply constraint is already there.
Okay. Understood. Okay. And sir, this news that we are hearing, about the fertilizer shortage and the people, getting into a lot of trouble because of that. So how true is this situation? Is there really that big concern on this fertilizer shortage side? And how, as as a company, are we countering it?
Yeah. In fact, there are major two reasons of this fertilizer shortage. Government has already advised all the companies not to increase the MRP of diammonium phosphate. So now, diammonium phosphate is just like urea. In phosphatic segment, it is the cheapest product as on date. So farmer is asking only for DAP. On the other hand, due to not announcing subsidy on time, fertilizer companies, they were not in a position to import sufficient stock or produce. So this is the major reason. I can tell you, our first point sale in country, it is 15% lower than last year, from April to October, and post sale is only 6% less than last year. If you see the fertilizer production, it is only 1% lower, and if you see the stock is really 60% minus as compared to last year for the period April to October. So this is the major reason. Everywhere even cry is there for DAP, not for any other grades in phosphatic sector. And as far as ours is concerned, we are obeying the instructions of government. We are manufacturing DAP, and of course in past we have also manufactured some of the grades, other grades like NPK 12 and NPK 10.
Okay. Okay, sir. So that was helpful. Thank you so much. And happy Diwali to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, You may press star and one to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah, so thank you everybody and happy Diwali to all. And as I tell on all post-com calls that keep faith in GSFC. We are in the growth trajectory, but being a PSU, maybe we are little slow, but definitely we invest only in the high promising products and high hurdle rate products that gives maximum return in maximum 5 years. We don't go for anything that takes long time to pay back, nor do we have any coercion or indication to do certain things in any name. So we only work professionally and we'll keep working in that fashion only. So we hope you will maintain the trust in GSFC, and thank you for the patient listening.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Batliwala and Karani Securities India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.